Today, we're going to take a look into a book that pretty much flips everything we think we know about love completely on its head. It's Erich Fromm's classic, The Art of Loving. And his big argument is that for all our obsession with love, most of us are, well, we're doing it all wrong. So let's just jump right in with the central question he poses. Is love an art? I mean, really think about that. Because if it is an art, that means it takes knowledge and effort. You know, just like learning to paint or play an instrument. But almost nobody treats it that way. All right, let's start with Fromm's diagnosis. Why do we keep getting love so wrong? He argues it all comes down to this one big mix-up. We're obsessed with the object, the person we want to love us, instead of developing the faculty, which is our actual skill of loving. And you can see this everywhere today. We think the whole game is about finding the right person, not being the right person. Our culture basically treats love like a marketplace. We're all shopping for the best deal, which turns people into products. And we make this classic mistake of confusing that initial, crazy, head-over-heels feeling of falling in love with the steady, conscious effort of standing in love. They are two totally different things. So this leads us to Fromm's big, game-changing idea. If love isn't a prize you find, then what is it? Well, he says, it's an art. And this makes so much sense when you think about it. Just like learning to play an instrument or becoming a doctor, love requires three things. You've got to learn the theory, you have to actually practice it, and you have to make it a top priority in your life. We'd totally accept this for any other skill, but for some reason, we expect to be a master of love without any training at all. It's kind of crazy. So why is learning this art so important? I mean, what's the big deal? Fromm says it's because it's the only real answer to the deepest, most fundamental anxiety of being human, the feeling of being separate. Just think about it for a second. We're the only creatures on Earth who are truly aware of ourselves as individuals. We know we're separate from nature, separate from each other. We even know we're going to die. That knowledge creates this deep, nagging anxiety underneath everything, this feeling of being alone. And according to Fromm, finding a way to overcome that separateness is the biggest driver in our entire lives. Now, we try all kinds of things to escape this feeling, right? We might try to lose ourselves for a little while with alcohol, or we might just try to blend in with a crowd, losing our individuality in some kind of herd mentality. And in our world today, a really common one is just numbing ourselves with the routine of work and endless distractions, binge watching a show or just scrolling forever on our phones. But these are just temporary fixes, little band-aids that don't solve the real problem. The real solution, the only thing that actually works long-term, is what Fromm calls mature love. And it's this beautiful paradox. It's a feeling of deep, profound union with someone else that doesn't just erase who you are. In fact, it actually demands that you stay a whole, separate person. You get to overcome that feeling of being alone without losing yourself in the process. Let's really look at this comparison because it's so important. On one side, you've got what he calls symbiotic union. Think of it like codependency. It's when two people kind of melt into one another because they can't stand to be alone. They lose their own identities. It's a fusion that comes from fear. But then you have mature love, where two whole independent people choose to connect. You don't lose yourself. In a way, you actually find yourself more deeply through your connection to the other person. Okay, so if love is an art and something we have to practice, what are we actually practicing? Well, Fromm breaks it down into 4 essential ingredients, 4 things you have to actively do. The first one is care, and this isn't just a feeling, it's an action. It's the work you put in. Dom says we love the things we work for. Like, if you say you love your houseplants but you never water them, do you really love them? Real love is actively helping the other person grow and flourish. Next up is responsibility. Now, this isn't about it being a chore or a duty. The real meaning of the word is the ability to respond. It's about being ready and willing to respond to another person's needs, whether they say them out loud or not. It's choosing, voluntarily, to be there for them. The third element is respect. The root of the word literally means to look at. So respect is about the ability to see a person for who they actually are, not as some projection or who you wish they were. It means you genuinely want them to grow and be themselves, for their own sake, not to fulfill some need of yours. Without respect, care can turn into control really fast. And finally, there's knowledge. And this isn't about knowing facts about someone like their job or their favorite food. Fromm says you can't truly know a person by analyzing them like a science project. The only way to get this deep knowledge is through the act of love itself, of connecting from your core to their core. In that moment of true union, you really know them. All right, for our final section, let's look at how this all fits together. Fromm makes it super clear that this whole art of loving thing isn't just for your romantic partner. It's a way of being in the world, and you can direct this skill towards lots of different things. So he lays out 5 main kinds. You've got brotherly love, which is the foundation. It's that basic sense of care and solidarity with all other human beings. You have motherly love, which is that unconditional, I'm so glad you're here feeling. And then, really importantly, there's self-love, which Fromm says you absolutely have to have before you can truly love anyone else. The big idea here is that love is a skill, and you can apply it in all these different areas of your life. And I really want to pause on self-love for a second, because this is something we get wrong all the time. Fromm is crystal clear here. Self-love and selfishness are polar opposites. A selfish person is always grabbing, always needy, because deep down they're empty. They don't have genuine love for themselves, and that's exactly why they can't have genuine love for anybody else. Okay, so all of that sounds pretty incredible, doesn't it? But here's the catch. Fromm argues that the very way our modern society is structured makes this kind of love almost impossible to achieve. Let's dig into his critique of our culture. This quote really just says it all. It's the core of his whole argument. What he's saying is that our society is turning us into automatons, into robots. We can't really connect anymore. Instead, we just trade these personality packages like we're swapping products and cross our fingers that we're getting a good deal. It sounds more like a business merger than a romance, right? And this is where it gets really fascinating. Fromm connects love directly to our consumer culture. Think about it. So much of our happiness is tied to the thrill of getting a good deal, of buying something new. He argues that this mindset has totally bled into our relationships. We get so focused on finding the perfect object, the person with all the right features, that we completely forget about the actual act of loving. I mean, come on, does this feel familiar to anyone? Spending hours, and I mean hours, perfecting your dating profile, picking just the right photos that scream, I'm successful and fun. You're essentially highlighting your most marketable qualities. It's like we've all become our own personal branding managers in the dating marketplace. The crazy thing is, Fromm saw this coming decades ago. All right, so how does this whole market logic actually play out when we're trying to build deep, intimate connections? Fromm has this really brilliant concept that explains it perfectly. He calls it the personality package, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's you, but gift-wrapped for consumption. We bundle up our job, our looks, our sense of humor, our social status, all the good stuff, and we put it on display, hoping to make a profitable exchange with someone else's equally shiny package. This is the core difference. On one hand, you have the relationship as a transaction. A well-oiled team, sure, it's fair, it works, but you're still basically 2 separate individuals coexisting. But on the other side, you have Fromm's ideal, a genuine union. This isn't about a fair trade. It's about breaking down the walls between 2 people to become one. Okay, so that's the diagnosis, and it's a little bleak, I'll admit. So what's the cure? This is where Fromm switches gears from being a critic to being our teacher. He insists that love isn't some magical feeling you just fall into. No, love, he says, is an art. It's a skill. And like any art, it requires practice. And he doesn't just leave it at that. He actually gives us a roadmap. He says mastering the art of loving comes down to 4 key practices: discipline, concentration, patience, and making love a matter of ultimate concern. And that last one is huge. It means deciding that love is more important than success or money or fame. In our world, that is a truly radical idea. Now, when Fromm talks about discipline, don't think of some rigid, joyless chore. That's not it at all. He means a commitment that comes from you, an expression of your own will. Today, that discipline might look like putting your phone away when your partner is talking to you, or consistently making time for each other when your schedules are insane. It's an active choice you make every single day. Okay, this next one is a real paradox, but it is so powerful. Fromm argues that to truly deeply connect with another person, you first have to be able to be alone with yourself. You have to be okay in your own company. In our age of constant distraction, that's like a superpower. Because if you're just using a relationship to escape feeling lonely, Fromm would say that's not love, it's dependency. And then there's patience. In our world of 2-day shipping and instant gratification, being patient is a full-on act of rebellion. Our culture screams for quick results, and that creeps into our relationships. We want instant intimacy, quick fixes to every fight. But Fromm reminds us that real love is like a plant. It grows on its own schedule. You can't hack it or speed it up. You just have to have the patience to let it grow. But look, these practices, discipline, concentration, patience, they don't just happen in a vacuum. Fromm says they need to be fueled by two fundamental attitudes, faith and courage. Let's just sit with that for a second. Loving takes guts. It's a risk. It means making yourself vulnerable. It means you might get hurt. You are literally staking everything on that connection. It is absolutely not the safe and easy path. And the kind of faith Fromm is talking about isn't blind faith. He draws this really clear line between faith in power, which is all about control and trying to change someone, and what he calls rational faith in life. This is a deep belief in the potential for growth, in both yourself and your partner. It's having faith in the core of who they are and supporting their journey without trying to control it. So, after going through all of this, what's the big final message? Well, Fromm completely reframes our entire understanding of what love even is. This right here is the ultimate takeaway. Love is a verb. It is not a passive feeling that washes over you. It's an active power within you. It's the ongoing practice of giving, of caring, of being responsible, of showing respect. It is a choice you make and a commitment you renew, not just once, but over and over again every single day. And so, Fromm doesn't just leave us with a theory. He leaves us with a challenge. He's not interested in us just understanding his ideas. He wants us to go out and live them. By asking this question, he turns his philosophy into a personal mission for each of us. It's about deciding to see love not as a prize to be won, but as a beautiful, difficult, and lifelong art to be practiced. A look into the art of loving gives you the insight, but the full book gives you the breakthrough. If you're ready to master your own mind, the link is in the description. Share this with someone who is also building their best self. Then like and subscribe to keep gaining clarity. Choose to grow.